Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. My goal is to assist you to become more of a financial and emotional blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth and positive excellence in the process. What we've just done is have a look at Crypto Bubbles. What a fantastic site this is. You can see that you can actually add different periods up here if you press that little plus button, and it's available at cryptobubbles.net. I thoroughly recommend having a checkout of this site. It's excellent. When it comes to trading and investing, you always want to assess investor attention. You can do it in a lot of different ways, but the first thing is to understand, just like animals, investment vehicles move in herds or groups. There are different types of animals or different types of investments in every single market. Of course, the stock market, it's pretty clear, but inside crypto, not so clear. So how do you figure out what bubble this thing relates to? If you were to look at REQ and say, wow, that's actually quite interesting. If you look on a lot of different bases, for example, the hour, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the yearly, you get a bit of an understanding as to what is going on. But what group does this little animal belong in? One way that you can check it out is to come across to coinmarketcap.com, and then you can just type in REQ and press enter. What you'll actually see is request. What does it relate to? What are the groups? It's a medium of exchange, DeFi payments, smart contracts, and you can actually extend this out and see a little bit more. What you might like to do is to go to the primary group, medium of exchange, and just click on that ticker, and then you can see the medium of exchange tokens and how they're moving. As we scroll down this page, we get an understanding of the medium of exchange tokens: XRP, Doge, Litecoin, Wrap Bitcoin, Monero, Stellar, Bitcoin Cash, Kronos. But there's something that you can do here to figure out which is better or which has the most investor attention. You can just click up and down this 24-hour percent. One thing that you need to be aware of, the further out of the top 100 or the top 500, the riskier it is. Why is it risky? Because basically it can have very, very little liquidity. And that means there are no buyers or sellers, or you might get into a Hotel California type trade where you buy, you can check in anytime you want, but you can never leave. That's why going towards the lower numbers, preferably 500 and up, is the better way to go. Let's say that we're interested in request. How do you dig a little bit more deeply into this? Volume integrity is something very, very important to safeguard. When you look at request, it's 278 in terms of its coin market cap rating. So it's in the top 500, so not too bad. When you look at the last 24 hours, you can see it's in an uptrend, slightly weakening, just consolidating. When you look at the 7-day basis, it could be starting to get over resistance. That might mean that a lot of follow through could be on the way. But it's kind of 50-50 at the moment. You can see on the last 30 days, it looks like it's starting to bottom out. This could be really, really interesting. It depends if you're an investor, a day trader, a swing trader. So many different ways that you can buy and sell. But let's look into the volume of request token. I'll put the link in the description of this video, how to get to the Binance screen. What you're actually wanting to do is to see how much depth there is inside request token. What I've done is to just go in here and literally type in REQ. You can see that there are several pairs to pair against. BUSD, which is Binance US dollar, USDT, which is Tether, and request to Bitcoin. We just pick USDT. Let's have a look at the sellers. There's about 16,000, well now 17,000, say 18,000 worth of selling pressure, as opposed to 20,000 worth of buying pressure. And when we look at the depth chart, what do we see here? There's a lot of sellers. a lot of people don't read depth charts the way they actually work. When you see something like this, a lot of people say, oh, supply and demand, there's too many sellers, request token does have to go down. Actually, that's not what this is saying at all. It's saying something completely different. What it's saying is the sellers don't want lower prices. They're more confident that they can get higher prices and they're not budging. The sellers are in control. Another thing that you can do when you look at depth, you can actually change the increment that the depth relates to. We can go down, for example, to 1 cent increments. And you can see this is only a 1 cent traded. You have 4 significant or 4 decimal places here. 961 is how we would refer to the price of request network. When you look at it this way, from a cent by cent level, you can see that there's not too bad. There's $250,000 here on the buy side and 1 million on the sell side. And what I said before about the sellers being in control, it doesn't look like that at all, does it? You would look at this and say, no, Ken, you must be wrong. You got $1 million worth of sell pressure and only a quarter of that, $250,000 worth of buy pressure. But you can notice something, and it's important to understand the psychology of investment and trading. When you look at this particular depth chart, is the depth just right smack bang up against this thing? No, it's not. It's not at the current price. What you see is the buyers are more willing to buy than the sellers are willing to sell. Depth charts can be very confusing and they change all the time. But just remember this. When you see the height of one side larger or higher than the other, that's the side that's in control. I'll give you a little bit more of an understanding. When we look at the greatest gainers in the past 24 hours, we can see ICP is up nearly 9%. What would you expect the depth chart to look like on ICP? Well, let's go check it out. When we look at ICP, we can see there's a reasonable amount of depth. 39, and you can see how quickly it changes as well. We can see it's about equal on this. What does the depth chart look like? The sellers are slightly in control. And you notice that it's very, very different from the previous depth chart. On Request Network, the sellers are still in control. What you can see, a depth chart is a visual representation of the buy orders and the sell orders of the order book. It also represents the liquidity of this particular instrument. Let's go back to another one of the greatest winners in the past 24 hours. Greatest gainers, Aptos up 5.34%. When you look at the last 24 hours, we're getting a cut under. That could signify weakness. From a very short-term perspective, you can see in the last 7 days it's come up to a resistance level. We may anticipate Aptos to just dip down. There's probably a little bit more bearish momentum on Aptos at the moment. And when you look at the last 30 days, we've not realistically broken across this resistance. It's a little bit of negative pressure, but it is a bit of a jump up. Let's have a look at the depth chart on Aptos. We can see Aptos's depth chart is really, really different from the other two. Who is in command here? Well, it's the buyers. What are the buyers saying? They're saying to the sellers, no, I don't think so. I'm not going to buy at 1072.75. I'm going to buy down here around the 1049.2 mark. What is this thing? It's a buy wall. What does it mean? There's a really large order placed here in the order book at literally $10.50, very, very close to it. So what is this particular depth chart saying to us? Please let me know in the comments. It's really important to do your active learning each and every day. It's one thing to look, another thing to participate. I hope this gives you a little bit more depth inside, excuse the pun, inside looking at the top gainers and top losers. It's very, very powerful to see what the depth is doing, to understand how charts may be breaking resistance, breaking support, and looking longer term. It's very important not to just base your decision on what a particular alt is doing. Have a look at Bitcoin. Have a look where the structure is inside the crypto market. Looking at market structure is very, very important. And we can see Bitcoin is still under a level of resistance. It's currently trading at 29,216. The next smart money sell area is around the $30,000 mark, just to make it easier for you to remember. And the next smart money buy level is around 28,000 or 27,900. Thank you to all the very kind and generous global family members who've reached out and bought Kate and I a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/CryptoTradingKS. Many thanks to Mangi. Hi Ken and Kate, thank you so much for your time, kindness, and for being one of the most valuable sources of knowledge I have ever experienced in my many years as a lifelong learning lover and believer. Your videos and of course the masterclass are just first class and at the top of the tops for me. I really appreciate you and all what you do for us. Thank you, Mangi. That's very beautiful of you. Many thanks to LGRC01 and Stamina. Many thanks to Jay Bripto. Jay said, thank you so much, Ken and Kate, for your dedication to this community. I've really been enjoying the videos you've been doing since you took a short holiday. They've been incredibly helpful at understanding the little subsections of the market. I always look forward to more. I hope today has really helped out Jay. And to Vicente said, thank you very much, Ken and Kate, for the continuous financial work that you provide us, thanks to which we are on another level. Thank you, my friend. That's very kind. Also, thank you very much, Oscar. Just as we looked at the depth chart before, we're going to drill in a little bit on Bitcoin and try to get under the hood into the engine. It's very advisable to see how the shorts and the longs are reacting. What you're looking here for market sentiment. If the longs are coming in, that means people are going bullish. They're buying long at spots, so to speak. They anticipate higher upward price momentum. If the shorts are coming into the market, it signifies the exact opposite. Increases in shorts just generally put negative downward momentum on price because the longs get liquidated. You can see short spikes and long spikes play out all the time in the market. This is a long spike. That is a long spike. This is a short spike. And that is a short spike. You also want to get a bit of a feeling for how strong this sentiment actually is. Is it really, really strong sentiment, or is it meh sentiment? Well, it's about meh sentiment at the moment. 24-hour liquidations, 28.52 million across 14,446 trading positions. And when we look at liquidations in the past 24 hours, we can gain an understanding of what has the market's attention. That can be very good for you to look at. What about the actual liquidations? We can see about 51% short total exchange liquidations across the past 24 hours. What about the past 12 hours? It's gone the other way, about 57% long. What about the past 4 hours? It's gone the other way again. Choppy market time, about 77% short. And what about the past hour? It's gone the other way again. It's really, really choppy out there. 66% long. And you can get a bit of a visual indication from this chart down the bottom. You can see the longs and the shorts are always taking it in turns to whack each other. That is, liquidate each other. But if you take your time to actually study and look at this, it can give you some really interesting signals. When we go back and look at the depth chart on REC, the sellers are saying, I'm not selling where you want me to buy. They're not putting their orders down. They're putting their orders up. They anticipate higher prices. If they were panicking, they would not be doing this. I hope this really helps you out. A lot of people get confused on depth charts, and it's no wonder they are confusing. But if you look at it continuously, if you make it part of your study, and we do cover this off, of course, inside the masterclass, you'll see the market with different eyes. This is a bit of a secret, and I share it because you're here on Sunday showing your dedication and commitment. You're just awesome. This is Kate and my way of saying thank you for being here. I hope this knowledge really helps you out and gives you a little bit of a different way to look at the market. One thing to keep in mind, the depth chart is always shifting around, and it doesn't matter what increment you put it in. This is Bitcoin now. It doesn't matter this increment. It will not change the depth chart. It only shows you the particular levels, gives you a bit of an idea. For example, if you had a lot of money, that's why people go into Bitcoin, because they can trade in and out easily. They're not going to get caught in a California, Hotel California type trade. They can get in and out very, very simply. It's very important to master fear, and that's not easy to do. This is rule 723 from the masterclass. The bear is getting his marching orders. Get out of here, bear. Master fear is all about saying the red is actually your friend. You're getting on the right side of the percentage and on the potentially the right side of the trade, as we saw with cake recently. One thing to always bear in mind, your emotional control dictates your level of profitability. And you can see just how dramatically the depth chart can change around. You can look at buy walls and sell walls. There's so many interesting things to look at. I'll also put this link in here for Crypto Bubbles. Fantastic website. It's like everything in finance. It takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to understand what's going on, but the returns are incredible when you get your knowledge and your emotional control together. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and a beautiful weekend from Kate and I. We look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.